sure you teach this kata until at least 6 months to a year later of training, all right? People say, okay, this is how the kata goes. You go like this, you punch. You can learn Sanchin Sampo in 5 minutes, all right? But that's not how it works. There are things that you have to do with a student before you show them the kata, even if the person knows the kata correctly. In old days in Okinawa, before a student did Sanchin, the teacher would say, how you feeling? Feeling all right? Look in the eyes, color of the skin. Because if you do Sanchin and you're not feeling well, you're hurting yourself. Ladies, when you do Sanchin, if it's that time, don't do Sanchin at all. All right? And the stories about putting the tongue on behind the eye teeth, that's only if you're in good health. That can do damage if you're not in good health. There are different positions of the tongue when you perform kata. There are times when you put the tongue up and don't touch anything. There are times when you put the tongue down and touch the bottom of the eye teeth. It all depends on the situation when you're doing kata. So every time I see a film or somebody talking about Sanchin, don't forget to put the tongue behind the eye teeth. Yes, that is how to do it if you're fine. If you're not feeling well, you're hurting yourself. So a teacher will go over to a student and say, how are you feeling today? We'll look in his eyes, we'll look at the color of the skin, and then say, okay. And then there's a thing called Sanchin Shimen, where they test Sanchin, bam, 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 bam. You ever see that? When they pound on you? Well, there's a whole story about pounding too. You're not really supposed to pound. That's what people do. That hard. Does it make sense to damage your body to make you healthy? So you got to think about these things. So before you even do Sanchin Shimen, which is Sanchin Shimen, where they strike, boom, boom, boom. I don't know if you ever saw that stuff, right? That could damage the body too. This is what you do. Sanchin Shimen A. Before you do anything, you have to speak to the teacher. The teacher speaks to the student, how you feel, blah, 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 blah. You do breathing exercise. You put one hand on your stomach, one hand on your chest, and you tell them to take deep breaths. And you see if his breathing is from the stomach area and not from the chest muscle. Because if he's breathing from the chest, why do Sanchin? He's not breathing or doesn't have any proper breathing, and so you can do damage on him when you strike him. So you don't deal with this, all right? Then you get up there, that's one hand. You do the same thing standing up, because breathing on your back is easier than breathing standing up. So you do the same things, how to respond to that. Then you work on here. Because when you breathe in Sanchin, most people just think that you breathe in and your belly expands. Yes, it does. But it shouldn't be like a balloon where it blows up this way. The correct breathing for us is, you ever see those when you make animals out of, and it becomes a ring? That's better breathing. That all this part of these organs are protected at the same time, not just the abdomen. So when you breathe and you test breathing, you test the side, the front. You also test the back and the front. You want to see if the breath is going all the way around in the ring as a belt. Once this is accomplished and you're satisfied, then you can perform Sanchin Shimen, which is the striking. And when you strike, you always start with the feet first and work yourself up. You don't strike from here and work yourself down. All right, we'll go over that a little bit later. Well, let's start how to teach Sanchin. Since this is called Sanchin Kata, your stance is Sanchin Dachi. All right? Now, it's very important to get the stance correct. So when we start off, before we even learn the kata, we work on these little things that are in the kata, and then we put it all together. All right? You're making a soup. You got the broth, you got the vegetables, you got whatever you want to put into the soup. You separate it, you dice it, you do it clean, blah, 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 and then you put it in the soup. This is how you teach kata. You work all these little things out and then put it in the broth and voila, with the soup. You just don't do a kata. You will understand. And if you break it up in pieces, less questions will be asked to your teacher, because you will figure out bunkai and other things on your own if you dissect everything from the beginning. You follow? Good, okay. So the first thing you do is this is Sanchin Kata. You study Sanchin Dachi. So we put our hands on our backs, make 2 lines. A good distance from each other. All right? And you're going to start off with the right foot. And you're going to crescent step and come up with the pelvis and then totally relax. Eyes straight, arch, push this back, so. Keep the chin in, all right? Keep the spine straight. Step again. Chin in. That one. Step again. Relax. Make your eyes skate, all right? Don't drag it. That's unnatural. Just relax. Looks like an unnatural stance to begin with, but this is a very good stance. All right? Step in one more time. Easy. Step, focus, coming up. Not standing up, but bring the pelvis up. And then totally relax it. Because you can't move if the body's tight. So you gotta focus, relax, and when you relax, you're ready for the next move. Okay? Step it again. Easy. Okay, totally relax. Now, let me show you something. You have a pencil that's not here. Okay, so. Very important that the bottom of the feet are suction cups. In my system, we call it taco. Taco's octopus. We have those little suction cups on an octopus. That's very, very important. We grip the road. We don't grip up with our toes. The only time you grip with the toes is when you're in dirt, sand, or what have you. It all depends if you're outdoor training. You keep these things down as flat as possible. Try to force them down. Curl your toes for a second. Good. If I can get a pencil or pen in here, that means I can sweep it. It'd be dangerous. So you want to keep everything down. Okay? So when you step down. Make the foundation. Then bring everything up from there. Try it again. I want you to step 3 times on your own. Okay, so it's all like, what the hell is that? Back straight, chin in. You're all leading with your head. If you're leading with your head, you're a fighter. You're giving me a target. And you step with Sanchin. Okay? But you want to bleed it, you don't. You want to dig yourself. You don't want this moving. Watch how that thing moves. You don't want to see that thing anywhere. See how straight it is? You don't want to see this. That means it's body weight. You must keep this. You move from here. You don't move it from the chest. Move from your legs. There's another exercise that we do in Okinawa and Japan. It's in the tendon. You say, put your hands up here. Step forward. You work the tendon, just more focuses. These are things that you have to practice with Sanchin. You can learn Sanchin Kata in 5 seconds, but to learn it correctly is a lifetime. 4 years ago, when in Japan, one of my teachers, Ichikawa Sosui, asked me a question. He says, Taiani, how long are you doing karate? I said, 40 years. He says, how many times do you think in 40 years have you done Sanchin correctly? And I said, with a little pride and a little disgust, I said, Sensei, I think maybe in 40 years I did the kata 3 times. Right. And he laughed at me. He says, you know, Taiani, he says, I'm doing karate for 60 years. I haven't done it yet. Right there. So how the hell do you think you did it right before me? This kata you don't win. You try to get as close as possible to it, but you can't beat it. All right? So there's a lot to learn about it. So right now, what you do is all on your own. Just practice that Sanchin